This is Sunday night. Hello, I'm Melissa Doyle. Michelle Small and her son Dylan are alive tonight, thanks largely to the power of a mother's love and a little practical help from Bear Grylls. Lost in the bush for 10 long days, Michelle's only thought was to protect her boy. They had no food or water, but they did have memories of a TV show where Bear Grylls showed how to survive in the wild. Here's Angela Cox.
Can you just tell us what your one goal out there was?
Getting Dylan out. It was getting Dylan out, yeah. I had to. Yeah. We had a life to live. He's so young. It's okay. Yeah, I had to. I made myself a promise too, like, if he never got out, I wasn't either. Like, we were going to both walk out or none.
Against incredible odds, Michelle and Dylan made it out alive. They'd spent 10 days lost in the bush. A few days after the ordeal, Michelle was slowly getting her strength back. Dylan's legs were swollen and covered in bites and scratches.
I keep telling Mum we're going to get out today.
Do you know that she just wasn't going to let you go, was she? She was getting you guys out, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Sure was.
Together, they wandered aimlessly through an unforgiving wilderness. No food, no water, no way to communicate with the outside world. No idea if anyone was looking for them.
What they did to stay alive is a story of resilience, of courage, of survival. It's a story that has never been told until now.
Single mum Michelle Small and her 9-year-old son Dylan live in the rural town of Singleton, 200 kilometres north of Sydney. Close by are some of Australia's most beautiful and rugged bushwalking areas, which Michelle was keen to explore with Dylan.
I had 4 days off work, so I thought, okay, every day we had to go to a different place, explore different things, and that was the whole point of the whole thing.
You wanted to get him out, be active and fit in the fresh air.
It was that. It was getting him active and just getting him out and about and passing days, doing things.
Their interest in the outdoors was helped along by this TV series, Man vs. Wild.
Here he goes!
On one episode of the show, Bear Grylls gets dropped into the outback and has to survive.
People can go weeks without food, but without water in this environment, you wouldn't last more than a few days.
Upturned leaf. It's going to be fresh rainwater.
So you like Bear Grylls?
Mm-hmm.
Big fan, are you? How much of his stuff have you watched? Have you watched many of his shows?
Yeah. Like, he make the shows because he actually got lost in the bush, and that's how he make all the shows.
Did you ever think when you were watching Bear Grylls that you'd end up having to do some of that stuff yourself?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Those survival skills would be called upon a lot sooner than anyone could have expected. On the 2nd of October, Michelle and Dylan drove into the Mount Royal National Park. 7,000 hectares of dense forest, steep mountains and sheer cliffs. They were going to have a quick look around, and that's all.
So when you left the car, what did you have with you?
Nothing. We didn't plan on doing the walk, so we didn't even worry about the bottles of water that we actually had with us. Just left them in the car, just the phone, my phone and keys.
The clothes on your back, your mobile phone, no food, no water.
Didn't think we needed them.
You're walking down. You look like you were having fun. You were taking some photos and some selfies.
Yeah, he was making me laugh because he'd hide behind a leaf and make it I couldn't see him.
All is going well. They take a few more photos and then everything changes. Michelle looks around and realises she's not sure where they are.
We've lost his path and I didn't want him to see that and freak out more. So I'm like, no. It's okay, like we've just got to walk back again. We've just got to keep looking like for the path that we got onto and we will find our way. Like it's okay. Like so I held his hand and walked it again but we just couldn't find it.
Michelle hasn't let anyone know where they're going or when to expect them back. She has a phone, but no reception.
So then I saw the hill and I'm like, let's run up it. Let's run up it, we'll get up high and we'll get service. We will definitely get service if we go up high. But this hill had turned into like this mountain and we were using trees to hold on to get up. Still holding the phone, still just, there's no service. But the more I played with the phone, the more of the battery I'm using, so then I'm freaking out even more. But try not to show Dylan.
The light is fading and they're completely lost. Little do they know they're not actually that far from their car and help. But Michelle and Dylan are disoriented and they're absolutely terrified. They're about to spend their first night out here all alone.
We felt the cold, like even before it was dark. I was able to build this little sort of hutch sort of thing and I put him in it. I just tried reassuring him, it's okay. It's like camping, like we're just camping, like you wanted to camp, so now we're camping, like, but without the tent.
To make Dylan more comfortable, Michelle turns her bra into a pillow and holds him tight, telling him they'll be found soon.
What about your mum? Was she scared or was she being brave?
Mum was being brave.
Yeah. She was telling you it's going to be all right?
Yeah.
So you were telling him everything was going to be okay?
Yeah.
But what were you thinking?
At that point, I still thought, oh, we'll just be here a night, it's okay, like, but I'm sure there wasn't.
The next day, they take off again, looking for a way out. But by now, they have no idea which way is back. And before they know it, the sun is going down again, and they're in for another night.
Nights are the worst. You can't see anything, but you can hear everything.
I was scared of snakes and spiders.
We just heard all these noises around us. Things even sound like they were coming close.
At what point did you go from thinking, it's okay, we're going to get out of here, we'll find our way back, to realising you're in a whole world of trouble?
The second night. Once we were there the second night, then the third day, I'm like, something's wrong, something's really just doesn't feel right. Are we here, like, forever? Are we gonna be, like, found? Because I was thinking that people were looking for us straight away. Like, that the car's there but no.
Michelle and Dylan are not even reported missing until the third day. But police have no reason to believe they're in trouble, no way of knowing they've gone bushwalking.
What was going through your head?
A million things, just Dylan, a lot of Dylan, like, you know, like he's hungry, he's thirsty, like, and I can't. I have nothing for him. Like, I couldn't give him anything. I couldn't find anything.
At one point, they were so desperately thirsty, Michelle burst out crying. Dylan looked at her and said, "Mummy, tilt your head to the side. Your tears will roll into your mouth and you can drink them."
He goes, "Turn your face." He goes, "And let your tears go in your mouth." Yep. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like...
I don't know how I think that, but I was just thinking, turn your head that way and this.
Because the tears will come down here.
Yeah,
And then she could drink her tears.
you can actually do it.
Did you try and do that when you were out there? You were crying and
But
you were
I
trying-
got some, yeah.
But tears alone are not enough to quench their thirst for long. That's when Michelle remembers one of Bear Grylls' most extreme survival tips.
It may seem disgusting, but your own urine is safe to drink.
So that's when you decided to drink your own urine.
Yep, on day 4.
Michelle Small and her son Dylan are lost. Somewhere down there in the Mount Royal National Park. They've been reported missing, but no one knows they're in the bush. They haven't had food or water for 4 days. To survive, they need to quench their thirst.
I need to find something even if it's just for him. Just enough for him. Just to have just that moisture in his mouth.
So that's when you decided to drink your own urine.
Yep, on day 4. Because I remember watching Bear Grylls with Dylan, and I'm glad I paid attention when we were watching it because I remember him doing it and saying that you can. So I'm like, okay, what can I use? That's when I took the cover off my phone. And I'm like, Mummy will go first, because he was like, "We're what?" Like, I said, "But we will do," we said, "We have to." I said, "We're very thirsty." I said, "And this could save our lives." Like, he's like, "Okay." Just think apple juice and yummy.
And you didn't really like the sound of that, did you?
But you can drink them almost in one. Because Bills drank it 4 times and you stayed alive for 5 days
Yeah.
drinking that weed.
How did it taste?
It tastes like, I don't know, it tastes like salt water in it.
Salt water?
Yeah.
It definitely was not pleasant. I don't recommend it to anybody unless it's going to save your life. But, yeah. But at that point, I was desperate and I was just whatever it took.
It is a short-term solution to their dehydration. And as we found, there's just no water up here on the mountain. That night, they collapse and fall asleep. The next morning, Michelle wakes to find Dylan still and cold.
He changed colour. He was like this really just like dull purple sort of colour. And I'm like, no. I knew he didn't have long. So then I'm like, move. You need to move. You need to get back down.
And that moment, what is in your heart?
That I lost him. That I actually did this. Like, you know, my son's gone because of what, you know, I felt stupid. I just felt like...
At her lowest, Michelle admits she contemplates taking her own life if Dylan doesn't make it.
And then I was like, okay, well, you've got to find the quickest way to then end yours, and not just sort of rock and cut, just cut veins or something because I was not going to sit with him while he was gone.
But Dylan is a resilient boy. To his mum's surprise, he comes too, finds some inner strength to soldier on.
It was like we were drunk. We were just really thumbly with our walking and just, we'd fall over a lot, especially as the days went on.
You said you kept hearing kookaburras.
But yeah, them kookaburras, yeah, sort of made us laugh. Like, 'cause I'm like, they're laughing at us. Like, and Dylan just, yeah, laughed.
The kookaburras, they were just laughing at us, like, so much.
We'd hear them again and then we'd laugh too because I'm like, they're laughing at us again. Like, yeah, so, yeah.
Back in Singleton, a police search of their home has turned up a map of the national park. Their car is found by rangers. It's also been photographed by a wildlife camera, revealing exactly when they arrived in the park. Rescuers now have a place to start looking.
I do have a wife of a similar age and 2 daughters. To think of those children and my wife out there in similar circumstances, it was just, I'd be horrified.
Police radio technician Senior Constable Rob Craig is increasingly worried about how it will all end.
To spend days and nights, they must have been covered in all sorts of ticks, leeches, spiders, who knows what. And that has to have traumatised him.
If it was just Michelle, she would have given up. One thing is keeping her going, a mother's love.
It was my job to get him out. Like, it was my job to protect him. It was my job to keep him safe. Like, I'm his mum. And if I didn't do that, well, he couldn't. And I knew he couldn't.
They are both near breaking point when they find a small pool of water. They use another Bear Grylls tip, make a cup out of leaves.
How did it taste in your
It
mouth?
was just so nice. It was like you couldn't get it in quick enough. You felt like dipping your whole head into it, like, and just drinking that way. Like, it was like one of the happiest moments, just knowing that he had water.
So this was 8 days
8 days.
without any water.
Without nothing.
8 days also without food. So hungry, they began fantasizing.
Prawns and steak.
Yeah, we kept going about prawns and steak.
That's what you were going to eat, prawns
Yeah.
and steak.
We got out.
By now, a team of more than 40 are searching. A rescue helicopter makes low sweeps just above the tree line. Michelle and Dylan can see the chopper.
We were just waving our arms and he went back and forth. He probably can't see us, but it was that relief too, knowing that they're searching.
It's 10 days since Michelle Small and her 9-year-old son Dylan lost their way. A rainstorm has given them water to drink and strength to push on. But they still haven't had any food. Dylan has lost his shoes and Michelle decides to go barefoot as well.
Because if he was going to be in pain,
I was going to be in it with him. And if he had something go through his foot, well, then it had to go through mine too.
you're in it together.
Yep.
In the muddy ground, Police Senior Constable Dan Carter finds the first clue they are still alive.
We could see, obviously, the toe digits and the foot, the make-out of the foot. We could also see that they were only about 30 centimetres apart, so we assumed it was a child or a young person taking such small steps.
What was your reaction? You must have been excited.
Oh, yeah, we were all quite excited. I think our pace picked up and, yeah, we sort of knew that we might have been hot on their trail.
Team Alpha, this is base, over.
The search team is closing in on Michelle and Dylan. But after 10 desperate days, Michelle takes a gamble. leaving pools of rainwater in the valley to follow an uphill trail.
Next minute we just stopped because, hang on, there's no track and there's a road. We've just looked at each other like, are we really seeing the road? Like, and we cried and hugged, and because I knew we're out. Like, it's not over, but we're out. Like, it was just such this relief. Like, I knew then I got him out. Like, he got out. Like,
You did it.
Yep.
Nearby, they find a shack. No one's home, but there are water bottles which they fill. Then they stumble back to the road, and by chance,
We saw a lady and her son.
Senior Constable Rob Craig is driving by.
Standing on the side of the road, frantically waving at us. We thought, that has got to be them. It can't possibly be anyone else out here.
And the police officers, they got out of the car and they grabbed us, and we've got into the car and we've just cried and hugged, and it was finally done. I knew then it was done. We were done. Like, it was just all over.
You'd done what you had to. You'd saved your son.
I got him out.
I got straight onto the radio and advised a command post that, yes, they had been found. And I think there was a bit of stunned silence on the other end for a moment.
When we got up there, it was just wow. There's so many rescue things and ambulance and police.
275, go ahead.
We have a 9-year-old male and a 40-year-old female. Both were lost in the bush for the last 10 days.
Paramedics Kelly Sutton and Simone Plummer cared for the pair in the ambulance and were surprised by Dylan's energy.
He just was telling us all his favourite foods.
Story. He was such a trooper, wasn't he?
Yeah. He really wanted a good feed, that poor kid.
Yeah, he made our day for sure.
I think we got his like top 10 favourite foods in the whole world. So, yeah.
Michelle and Dylan spent 11 days in hospital being treated for exhaustion, dehydration, tick and leech bites, scratches and rashes.
And you said that it was Dylan that kept you going.
Yeah, for sure. Every day it was, how can I get him out? Like, what can I do, like, to make sure he's safe? And what can I do to get him water? And where can we go? And
But we got out though.
we did, we sure did.
We got out first day.
Good boy, I remember.
One away.
What do you think got them both through?
I think probably their love for each other, I think they've a mother's love for a son to get her through, and just determination, just sheer determination to keep going. It's nothing short of a miracle.
News of how this mother and son had survived for 10 days in the bush has travelled around the world, all the way to London. And their survival idol, Bear Grylls himself.
Bear Grylls. Michelle and Dylan say you saved their lives.
That's not necessarily the truth. You know, the truth is it was down to their courage and their resourcefulness and their togetherness and that positivity, because it's easy to be positive for a day, you know, but 10 days, that's hard.
One of your tips that they followed, they drank their own urine.
Well, listen, drinking your own urine is not a fun thing to have to do. But if it played a part in helping save their lives, well, that's a good thing. You know, it's all about being resourceful and also going that extra mile, doing the difficult things. And I think I look at this story of Michelle and Dylan, and I think for me, that's what shines brightest. They had that survivor spirit, that dogged determination to never give up.
Do you think that you're as good as Bear Grylls now?
Yes. He just stays in the bush for 5 days and gets out that last day.
You were in there for 10 days.
Yeah, but I'm better than him.
That's right.
Exactly.
Dylan, obviously for you, a young man, but you know what? It's amazing at a young age to show that you've got that spirit and, you know, walk humbly with that, but be proud to know that you've got this courage and determination that will sustain you along into your life. through many difficult times, I'm sure, ahead. But be proud of what you've done, and I can't wait to meet you. When I'm next in Australia, I'm going to come and take you out, and we're going to have a beer. In fact, not a beer. You're 9. Hot chocolate. Take care, buddy. You're amazing.
A few days ago, Michelle and Dylan were well enough to leave hospital and go home. Michelle still struggling to walk. Dylan happy to sit back with Mum to watch an episode of his hero, Bear Grylls.
Come on, Ray! I'm hydrated. Again, I've even had a bit of a wash.
But Michelle has found a new hero.
You are so brave. Yeah, you are so brave. And you are so strong. Yeah, aren't you? Yep. Good boy. Yeah, aren't you? Huh?
And if you go to our website and Facebook page, you'll find a list of Bear Grylls' top survival tips.